Hey everybody, welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. Once again, video here in balmy Barcelona, Spain. Lots of rain all evening. Just making a couple of videos tonight though and enjoying the sound of the rain, even though I'm kind of stuck in my room, can't do much. And on the subject of, balminess and rain and dreariness, a reader wanted me to talk a bit about the concept of depression from a spiritual perspective and what you can do when you're suffering from depression. I know a lot of you people are, because the nature of this subject attracts people who do have things that they're working through. And sometimes one of the best ways to work through those things is literally what we talk about on this channel: objective, verifiable, factual information about other dimensions, our higher purpose in life, where we go when we cross over, when we leave this particular physical body behind, and the greater purpose of life and meaning and a lot of these things. And that I think is one of the best things to do. But there's a lot of other things to think about, and this is a really difficult subject. And I don't, I keep in mind, like, I'm not a therapist, but at least I can offer some advice that may help with that. Before we go further, if you like these subjects, then I encourage you to go down, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to keep these videos and the community going. Liking, sharing, all that stuff tells YouTube that my channel is relevant, which means they promote the channel more, as opposed to relegating the channel into obscurity. So to continue, for people who are depressed, I always encourage people to think about their higher purpose in life and who they are as an elemental essence. So materialist society wants to push people down, wants to say that your life is an illusion, consciousness is an illusion, you have no significance, you're just a cog in a machine, you're just another feeder, a consumer, and there's no relevance, and even your personality is an illusion. The higher level philosophies will tell you the opposite, though. We will say that you are actually a unique element of the universe, as unique as the color blue of this vest I'm wearing. It's part of the universe. It'll never go away. Think about this nice shade of blue. So, it's an elemental thing. It's a concept that will always exist, and there's probably other colors in the spectrum as well that we can't even fathom. But every personality is the same as a color. It's a unique essence that will never go away. It's part of the universe. So that means that's part of what you are. And part of your mission in life is waking up to that, even if your life here on this planet is a very poor, muddy sort of interpretation of what you are on a higher spectrum. So even if maybe you're out of shape, maybe you're overweight, maybe your looks are fading, and maybe you're in a job you don't like, and you're in a place to live you don't like, and your life seems very bleak, but just keep in mind this is just a tiny fraction of your higher self, of a much bigger version and more powerful version of who and what you are. So that said, your mission is to try to reconnect with that as best as you can. And if you don't have a purpose in life, and you're wondering about your career, and you freaked out because of mortality, and you don't know how much time you have left, and no one has that much time left. We're all on the train tracks. There's a train coming, and we don't know when it's going to hit us. You can at least keep in mind there's one thing that can be your purpose, which is just connecting with yourself on a deeper level. If you are depressed, first keep in mind that it could be hormonal, it could be chemical, or it could be a combination of psychological and psychophysical. So your psychological states are feeding into chemical states are feeding into psychological states. And this is interrupting what could be that mission of yours, which is to connect with your higher self, to experience who you are on a deeper level. It's difficult to do when there's chemicals going awry. So I greatly recommend for you to start doing physical exercise, and to do this whenever you feel depression. And to do as the Buddhists say, to take right action. So even if you don't feel like doing it, even if your body is telling you, I'm not gonna begin doing push-ups, I'm not gonna jog, you must do it anyway. Because when you do that physical exercise, if you can exercise to the point of like near exhaustion, it actually resets your brain. And there's a lot of interesting science about this. I was watching some Joe Rogan episodes about this. So don't quote me on it because I don't have the science on hand to cite. But basically, if you have bad chemicals, if you have a lack of dopamine in the brain, maybe a lack of serotonin, whatever it might be, doing physical exercise to the point of near exhaustion, it resets your brain. And then basically, you have a chance to try again for that day. So you woke up feeling depressed, feeling sad. Doing that exercise is kind of like, you're rolling the dice again, giving it another go. You've reset your brain, and you've also been able to release positive chemicals, as well as, going to that kind of, exercising like that produces a kind of fight or flight response in your body, and, becomes the only thing your body cares about. It's at a certain point is survival. And when you do that, then again, it forces your mind to condition itself into a different way of thinking, and oftentimes it will clear the mind as well in a way. So the stuff that's bothering you will no longer take precedence. Add this to the fact that if you keep doing this, it's going to put you into greater physical shape, greater physical health, greater energy, and all of this is going to stack on top of each other, and I believe it will help your depression quite a bit. Now combine this with the philosophical parts. Combine this with taking time out. Go to a retreat like this one. I'm here in the mountains in Barcelona in a cheap hostel. It's like $12-13 a night. And I'm in beautiful Spain. And you could be doing this as well. Take a week off, take a couple weeks off, and walk around the woods, meditate, and focus just on yourself. Don't think about work, and don't think about your crazy aunt, and don't think about your crazy kids, and whatever it might be. Take some time out for yourself. Focus on yourself, and connect with yourself on this kind of holistic spiritual level. And of course, exercise too while you're out in a place like this, and just reconnect with what matters. Reconnect with who you are as an individual. Because again, and there's even some branches of spirituality that try to argue against individuality. And I actually I always argue that this is unhealthy because it's connecting with your essence, which is, I think, what helps awaken us into higher quote, higher vibrations, if you want to use new agey terminology. So it's not about dulling down the individual, it's about awakening the individual. And as this happens, you will find yourself from a state of clarity to be able to connect more with the things that matter, the things you want to do in your life. So if you have pressing questions like you're not sure if your job is a good one or a bad one for you, from a state of greater clarity and connectedness with who you are as a person, as an individual, as a soul, as a higher soul, you'll have the answers to these questions that you're looking for. It'll come right to the surface, and you won't have to stress or worry about particular problems in your life. The same with interpersonal issues, and the same with existential problems, and the stress that comes with people we know who are sick or we have to take care of. This is a lot of answers that come. It's like this higher knowing, higher knowledge that you begin to experience when you're operating from that level. And I believe I operate from this level a lot, and this is why not a lot stresses me out. Because if something begins to stress me out, I go back into this state. And like the knowledge of what to do and the understanding kind of comes to me, and I don't have to be up all night worried about it. It just kind of flows in. Then I can spend other time being productive or meeting people or enjoying life and things like that, which is something we all need to work on. I know some of you guys out there, you have chronic pain, or you have other illnesses or other problems, or you're getting kind of older, you're having some issues with that. But don't forget also the power of healing. I was I had an interview a few interviews back. If you check the channel with Lawrence Brock, who is a healer, and maybe check that interview out again. And remember that with your mind, there's so much that you can work on with your body as well. I'm not saying you can heal a terminal illness right away, but as you connect like this, as you work on yourself, you can begin to heal yourself emotionally, psychologically, and even physically. I've done it myself, and a lot of people do it. But a lot of that involves focusing on positive, loving energy, allowing it to kind of pour into you, and focusing all your attention on that, and moving around your body and focusing on different parts that need healing. And using that as a kind of meditation and focusing on that as long as you can. And when you do this, you'll find sometimes even health conditions will begin to heal themselves. And it's worked for a lot of people, and it's something to check out. So if you combine all this together, I believe that some of these depression issues will begin to work themselves out. Because the thing that's depressing a lot of people is that they're being pushed down by life. And really, there's a greater self that's trying to erupt out, but it's all being depressed, pressed down. And these techniques, these ideas, these philosophies, I hope that they help you. But just remember, finally, one last thing. Don't forget the importance of taking time out for yourself. Because we can't just be at the whim of the external events, no matter how personal they are, even if it involves your closest loved ones. If they're causing you extreme amounts of stress, you need to take time out to reconnect with yourself before you can even actually help them. You can't be of much help if you're depressed. These are just some thoughts. I probably have many more thoughts about this, but if you like this work, if you like this channel, you can check out some of my books like Understanding Life After Death or The Afterlife and Beyond, both of which are talking about life in other worlds and life beyond just this one itty-bitty external reality. And you can check them out at afterlifetopics.com. You can get involved in the Facebook group Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. Or you can become a VIP patron at afterlifetopics.com/university. Sign up with PayPal, help support this work, and you get to be behind the scenes with guests and ask them questions, talk to them, and do special twice a week classes and debates and discussions, and be on the inside with this community. And it helps me out, helps keep this show on the road. So those are some things if you want to get involved. Alright, this is Cyrus. Send me a message on Facebook. Get in touch if you want to get in touch with me. I'm pretty easy to talk to. And I'll catch you guys on the next show.